right. Good morning. Good morning. Let me know if you can see me. I know that last time I went live with one bar, like I'm seeing right now. Annette was seeing a black screen. So, really would be grateful to know if you can actually see me. It's so frustrating. I'm in my own home. My router is literally 2 feet behind me, and I have one bar. Excellent. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you for the feedback. All right, so I've moved from Richard's music room to the lounge room to try and be closer to the router. I'll show you where the router is. Look, the router is literally just down there, at the end of this TV stand, which has no TV on it at the moment because it died. So we have to go and buy a new TV. And we're delaying that because we're spacing out our expenses. And as you do, we have a new floor rug coming sometime this week, which was a bit of a hit to the budget. And I'm going to be buying a table to go on it so that I can set up my sewing machine. And that's all going to go over there, over that side of the room there. And so we're kind of delaying the new TV purchase for a bit. I can manage. With watching YouTube on my laptop, and Rich has got a TV in the music room. So there we go. Hi, Beverly. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming along. So today what we're doing is I actually went out to the Hunter Region Botanical Gardens during the week. I found a nice sunny morning on Wednesday and went out to explore the little sculpture trail that they have there. It's a beautiful botanical garden, just a 15-minute drive from where we are. And once again, in a location where there's no signal. So that's why I went out there and did a recording there. And it's really lovely. It's coming into orchid season in a couple of weeks' time, and they have a beautiful orchid garden. So I'm going to go back there and do some more recording once the orchids are out. And there are other beautiful aspects to that botanical garden that I can explore as well. There are known to be wallabies there at very early morning. Oh, thank you. This was a cheap Kmart jumper just a few weeks ago. And I bought a size smaller than I normally do because it's such a bulky fit. Anyway, so this place is known to have wallabies, but they generally go into hiding at around about the time that people start to arrive. So there's not a great chance that we'll see wallabies if we go back. But there is a good chance that we'll see goannas, which I have seen there in the past. A few years ago, I was there. It's very cozy and comfy. Hi, Natasha. Lovely to see you. And hi, Tish. Good to see you too. So we are going to start this recording and stick around for the end because I've got some more news to share with you when we get there. All right, let's start the Botanical Gardens recording and go explore the sculpture trail. Let's go. Okay, I've got no sound on this recording. Can anyone hear sound?
This is the entrance to the Hunter Region Botanic Gardens.
There's no sound.
Unfortunately, it's located right next to where there's some pretty major
All right, looks like I'm going to have to talk you through it myself.
But as we move into the gardens,
why is there no sound? We did this. You have sound? Can you hear me talking?
We're here right next to a lovely pond, fountain. Camellias. And a magnificent ash tree. About to get run over.
That's so weird, Annette. I cannot hear the sound from the video.
So this tree
you might
here
have to
is
tell me what's
absolutely
going
gorgeous. It has these big sweeping branches, many of them reaching right down to the ground. Welcome. So we enter via the visitor centre, and this is where we'll pay a small entrance fee. This is a rather magnificent gum tree right here as well. Okay, let's head on in. We have complimentary insect repellent with invitations to donate for the use of the insect repellent, because there's a lot of mosquitoes around this area. And there's also a warning about snakes. So these are all the snakes that you might encounter in the Newcastle area. Common tree snake, diamond python, blind snake. Eastern brown is the one that we need to be most aware of. Okay, please be aware, snakes live here and have right of way. Let's head on in. Enter via a small gift shop. All right, so we have our car park token. This is going to get us out, allows us to get out of the car park. And we also have the map. So let's see, what have we got here? It's quite a lovely sandstone sculpture right here at the entrance. Really beautiful. We are headed towards the sculpture walk, the sculpture garden, which there is a temporary trail here just for, I think that's about 2 months it's going to be here. Here we have plants for sale. I think most of these will be Australian native plants. It's a kind of acacia, or what we call a wattle. And of course it's just coming into wattle season. We're starting to get the wattles starting to come out. This is the grass tree, I think. No, it's not. It's a rush. Okay. It's not the grass tree. What else do we have? Westringer, which is what we call native rosemary. That one there with the pretty little purple flower. All right, let's go for a wander. So there's various ways that we can walk. There's the Botanic walk. We're going to follow that for part of the way. We can see that it's split up into regions or themes: acacia, hunter region, grevilleas, fernery. There's also an orchid house. The orchids aren't quite out yet. But this is the map of the gardens, and we are heading down into this area down here for the sculpture walk. Alrighty, let's head off. On the weekend just past, there was a medieval festival, and I missed out on it because we had visitors. So we weren't able to come, unfortunately, which was very sad because I really wanted to, but that's okay. Some blue balls here. I'm actually hoping that we might get lucky and see some wildlife today as well. So we're going to head off this way and head towards the sculpture trail. And it's lovely to see the sun. It's been raining almost non-stop for at least the last 2 weeks. And down in this direction there's a palm garden and Australian ferns. Hopefully if we get time I'll come back this way because we have things like the rainforest, the wetlands and threatened plants over in this direction. But we're going to head towards the sculpture garden first of all. Now, as I understand it, this is the 5th year that the Hunter Botanic Gardens has been holding this particular sculpture exhibition. And it's located in an area of the gardens which is predominantly natives, with a few rainforest type plants. It's quite a shaded area, and you can see this is the result of 2 weeks of rain. So we know we're walking in the right direction. There's hardly anyone here. There was one other car in the car park. So we have the place just about all to ourselves, which is pretty nice. We're surrounded by native forest at the moment. This is sort of just wild original habitat local to the Newcastle area. And this area is planted out with palms. And bird's nest ferns. There we have a kookaburra. He's going to be on the lookout for lizards or snakes. Off he goes. Well, since we know that there's one here in the area, I was just about to say, I hope that he calls for us, and he did. The sound of the laughing kookaburra. Right, so we're just about to enter the area where the sculptures are located. This is the Rainforest part of the Hunter Botanic Gardens. So we can see where we're located is just at the start of the tropical area, and we're going to come down into the subtropical and dry zones. There's a box here that says look inside. And there are rainforest guides. Summer, it shows you what to expect at different times of year. So I've got the summer one here. They all appear to be summer, is that right? Spring. What's this one? Autumn. That one's autumn. They need a new autumn. It's been damaged. There isn't one for winter. So spring would be the nearest one for us right now. Put summer back. Okay, so spring, we can see that the Davidson plum is starting to come into flower. That's that one there. Snake vine. Maiden's blush is that one. Palm lily. Powder puff lily pilly. Okay, so we're going to keep an eye out for things like that's a native violet. We have our own. Australia has its own violets. Honeybush. And various others on the back as well. The orchids will be starting to come into flower, but they're not quite there yet. I used to have some of those growing in my backyard in Lawson. Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking out for as we walk around. And here's our first sculpture. This one is called The Hope 2. There it is. Almost blends into the background. And on our right we have one that's called Natural Selection. And I can only assume, I saw this the other day, I can only assume that this is something to do with perhaps the man taunting or tormenting the hippopotamus in some way. Is that what it's referring to? So we know what the outcome of that is going to be. I'm not sure what the man is holding in his hand. Is it he's trying to catch the hippopotamus with a rope of some sort? So there we go. That's Natural Selection. Up above us we've got beautiful gum trees. Little birds flitting around up there, providing the canopy for this rainforest terrain down below. Looking up. Following the trunks high into the sky. Our next sculpture is called Moose Meets Bird. feel like I've missed a couple because we're already up to number 4. Anyway, this is Moose Meets Bird, and the sun is making it a little bit tricky, so let's try and position that a little bit better. So it's made out of old car parts by the looks of it. And there's the bird. And alongside that, I thought this was a sculpture. It's kind of just a growing frame. Right, so there's one over here. Let's go and have a look at that. So I'm sure I missed this one the last time I was here. This says Rainforest viewing post. Oh, this is cool. Okay, so lean back on the post to view the rainforest canopy. Okay, so we're instructed to stand up on here. Okay, lean back. Lean back on the post and look up. Oh, they don't know me very well, do they? I'm always looking up. There we go. Look. That's what you get when you lean back. This over here, I didn't see this one the other day when we were here checking the place out. This is, they look like acrobats. Okay, it says Dance of Souls. Oh, it has quite a morbid feel to it, doesn't it? And then this one over here is called Solar Tracker. Huh. Okay. Let's head back to where we were headed. For some reason this path is closed. I'm not sure why. Oh, because it's moss. That path is mossy, so they've closed it so that you don't slip. And I did experience some slipping on another path here the other day. There's a little pond here with bird's nest ferns growing alongside it. Now, this one is called 3 Stones, 2 Upright. And it looks like we're trying to get some kind of a vine established. I'm not sure what sort it is. This one doesn't have the same kind of label. It looks like it's probably part of the permanent sculpture collection, perhaps. It says it's called El Nino and made of bronze, Australian red cedar and reclaimed lenses. Okay, so El Nino. And it's positioned in front of another absolutely magnificent tree. can't even see the top of it. Interesting. There we go, look. Next we come to a grouping of canvases by the looks of it. And next to it is a marker, like a flood height indicator. So this is a reference to flooding, and it's called Below the Line. And then we come to one called 5 Elements. And there are 5 tags on it. I don't know what the tags indicate. Let's see if we can figure this out. Okay, what does that say? I don't know. Oh, that says oxygen. So this one is nitrogen. Carbon. Then we have hydrogen. Didn't we already have hydrogen? What was that? Oh, nitrogen. So what is this one going to be? Sulfur. Be careful not to trip over. There's a fallen log. Okay, so that's that one. 5 Elements. Over here we have a presence in the other. So we have 2 figures facing each other and they're mirrored. So if I go over here, the problem is that I've got to kind of step over a log to get to it. So I'm kind of guessing that you're going to see maybe the other figure reflected. Interesting. And then the next one we come to is Winter Bloom, it's called. The next one coming up is a little bit of fun. It's quite ingenious, really. Who remembers watching Stargate? I think the name of the show was. It says it's called Stargate Portal and its Control Panel. So there's a sign there pointing this way. So the hands are pointing towards towards the Stargate portal. And here we go. And on the other side of this portal is a rock lily that's just about to come into flower. So I don't know if that positioning was deliberate in any way, but there, that's a rock lily. Then all along the inside of this arch, we've got all these old circuit boards. On both sides, making up the Stargate. And its control panel is over here. And it just feels like we've given a couple of preteens a box full of old components and said, go for your life. There's even a handle, like a poker machine handle or something over there. And there's a very detailed set of instructions, which I'm not going to read. But you're welcome to take screenshots of that if you'd like to. It says, note, if you are aware of any of these people who have forgotten to be picked up, you can still apply by sending a stamped self-addressed envelope saying, please pick up my gran to Area 51, Groom Lake, Nevada Desert. There you go. So that's the Stargate portal. That's pretty fun. Okay, now over here, this one's called Big Hearth. And it's really just a big block of, looks like concrete, suspended. So is that like a pizza oven? Is that the hearth? Enjoying the silent moments, listening to the forest and listening to the birds. Okay, I actually completely missed this one the other day, walking through here, but it's called End. It's rather a somber message, isn't it? And the next one along, made of string, and it's called Tetrahedron Studies. And it's a series of 3, I think. So we've got this one here, the larger one. Then over here we have 2 smaller ones. then behind me, this one's called Dog. I don't know, to me he doesn't look very happy. But this is rather magnificent too. Moving along. This is closed at the moment. The boardwalk itself is actually in a state of disrepair. But I was talking to, I think he may have been something to do with management. He was down here with part of the maintenance crew. Oh, see, that's slippery. And they said that the problem is that on the other side now is no longer their property. It belongs to something else. But I said, well, why don't you just open it up as like a viewing platform so you can walk out into the middle of it and look out over the wetlands, which he thought was, he seemed to think that was a reasonable idea. So who knows, that may happen. But it does need boards repaired and replaced because they are rotting. So who knows, but I need to be careful and get off these slippery, this is all moss covered here, and we'll move off these slippery pavers. So going in this way, if we were to come back again, I'll come back another time. I think I'll come back several times and do a series of recordings in here, but this path leads to Australasian ferns off in that direction. And then back this way, there are some palms, and that leads back to the visitors centre. So let's finish the sculpture trail first, and then we may go back along that path. But here we have one that's called Imprisoned by the Ears, which I must say I don't really understand, but that's what that one's called. Oh, that was slippery. And then over here, look at this beautiful, absolutely magnificent staghorn fern. We took the children to Fraser Island when they were little, and there's a forest walk there. At the centre of it, there's a magnificent tree that's absolutely covered in those type of ferns. But here we have our next sculpture, which is difficult to see because of the background, because of the colour of it and the background. But it's in the shape of a boat, which could also be a leaf or a seed pod. And it's called Fallen. So that's it there. Once more, just listening to the forest. Now this one is, I quite like it. It's called Kindling, Kith and Kin. Look at that. I actually really like that. See if I can get all of them into the one shot without the trees. Maybe here. And then over on my right, this one here is called Nugget. And it kind of looks like a rhinoceros or triceratops, or something like that, or something with horns. It's a little unclear really as to what it might be. Once again, use your own imagination. And as we continue through the Rainforest Trail, the next one we come to is called Fish. And we'll be able to see both the fish and its reflection. I changed my mind. I'm not going to go along past the other walk. We won't double back because those pavers were pretty slippery. But what we've come across just here is another sculpture, but I'm not sure if it's part of this sculpture trail or if it's part of the permanent exhibition. I'm looking for a placard that belongs to it, but there's I think 5 in total. There's one. There's another. There's 2 here. There's one there. And one here. And a big one. Five spiders, but there was no label for them, so I think they're just part of the permanent garden display. All right. So I'm going to head this way, or shall I go that way? Actually, I might go this way, I think. Yeah, we'll go this way. We already came part of the way along here, and that's fine. Back past Dance of Souls. It's a lovely palm here. I think it's a cabbage tree palm. Livstonia species. I love that, seeing the sun shining through. So we've done a bit of a circuit in amongst the palms here. This one's quite rather lovely. And another one with the sun shining through the foliage. Early morning, apparently there are wallabies in the gardens, but they obviously disappear once human activity ramps up. And there's also goannas in here. I have seen goannas. Probably when the weather warms up a bit. I think it's a little bit too cold for them right now, but when the weather warms up we'll possibly see them come out. So with any luck, when I come back to see orchids, hopefully the goannas will start to make an appearance. Once again, looking up, we're going to look up here. Just some more stately trees. I found another sculpture. It's not part of the temporary sculpture trail, but it is a big one. Let's go and have a look at it. It's on a spot where we can actually look out over the wetlands. And I'd love to know what that bird is. So it says Don Morris and the Palm Garden. Don Morris established the Palm Garden during the 1980s, raising and planting most of the specimens here today. He possessed a detailed knowledge of palms and also of Australian flora and fauna, and was a member of several conservation organisations. He retired in 1988 as planner of the University of Newcastle, and then served on the board of directors at the Botanic Gardens. He was director of planning and development. His other interests included sculpture and watercolour painting. Okay, it's lovely to get the human connection stories, isn't it, to places like this. And I do need to once again be careful because this path is quite mossy. But I did spot a rather big sculpture just over here. So let's go take a look. What a lovely seating area as well. And here we are. Once again, there's a barrier to that lookout point. All right, I can hear frogs. This is the wetland viewing area, but they've closed it off for safety because of the mossy pavers, mainly, I believe. But it looks like they may be concerned about uneven surface, I'm not sure. But anyway, they've closed this off for now, temporarily. And this is the sculpture that stands in pride of place in front of the viewing platform. Okay, so heading back, completing the circuit, heading back towards the visitor centre. can see that it's very wet here. I can hear lots of frogs. Return to the Botanic walk. Just being very careful. My feet are slipping out from under me on this path. And in this part of the garden, once again, we return to the natural habitat with vines, it's another bird call I don't know, and another amazing staghorn fern here. There's a small path that goes this way. I don't know where it goes, but why don't we take a look? I think it's a short circuit. Fallen trees are made use of. They become habitat. They also add nutrients to the ground layer. And once again, another beautiful staghorn fern. This one's had some sort of termite activity. There's a teeny tiny little spider. Quite focus on it. And we find ourselves back at the visitor centre. This is basically the overflow car park where volunteers park. I'm just trying to get my bearings. I think I know where I am. Okay, yeah, I got it. I got it. We went down that way through these gates here to get to the sculpture garden, and we've basically done a circuit. I take a bit of a circuitous route to get back to the car park by a different direction. We'll see. I didn't see that the other day either. Things hide. So there's a lovely feminine form. And this sculpture here underneath. I was actually too busy looking at the camellia flower. That's why I didn't see it. It was right next to this lovely camellia flower over here. There is a sign, but I can't read it. The lovely dainty abutilon flowers are coming out. There's a more traditional looking sculpture over there. A young lady with a basket. And I'm going to go around this way to get to the car park. There's a rotunda. I couldn't think of the name of it. A rotunda in the centre of this grassed area over here. If we come back another time, we'll investigate these areas. There's considerably more to the Botanic Gardens than what we're seeing today. Yeah, I can get through here. So it's like a common in the traditional sense, this area. And there's notes here about, what does it say? It's talking about the owls, spy holes. It says something about the rotunda, but I can't read it. So can you? No, I can't read that at all. But we've got these sort of like miniature totem poles with like spy holes, owl eyes. So it's a way of engaging children, I guess, and helping them to understand and begin learning about nature and wildlife. Not sure what this is. Looks like another sculpture, doesn't it? And I'm fairly sure that if I was to head over to these picnic shelters, I'll find some artworks. So let's go take a look. I have a vague recollection of investigating these a couple of years ago. But before we get there, there's something over here. What's this? There's just like interesting things scattered all around the place. So yeah, that's a floral emblem of some sort. A bit of a wild garden here. There's grevilleas and fallen logs and vines growing over the grevilleas. And then we have this sort of organic shape. But I'm interested in what's over here. Look at that tree. Okay, yeah, so there's activities for kids here. It may have had something to do with the medieval festival, but these actually look fairly permanent, so I don't think they're like temporary. There's a cubby house. This is what I'm interested in. And I'm fairly certain that the artist for this has also done works up in the Nelson Bay area. So I think I'm already familiar with him, if I recall correctly. So these are song lines. The shapes all have meaning. So the U shapes usually refer to people in some way or another, is my understanding. And then you'll find things like waterways and meeting places. There'll be depictions of flowers in there, and I really need someone to help me to interpret it a little bit more intelligently than I'm doing. But you'll see that that's like a native orchid, that one there. And then these shapes here I think refer to a man, perhaps. So you have those shapes shown in what would be the meeting place. And then over here, I think it's similar. I'm not sure if there's any variation on this one. I can see a goanna down the bottom there. But more of these orchids, which are really beautiful. Can you look closely? And then there's a yarning circle over here, which is basically a place where people can meet, generations can meet, and tell stories. So that's why it's called a yarning circle, as in a yarn is a story. And I don't know what this says. A lot of these signs really need attention. Find how many animals are on the seats. Oh, okay. Can you name all the animals on the seats? I don't see any animals on the seats. Or does it mean these? Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, right. So there's an owl, there's a wombat, there's a koala with Joey, and every single one of these is different. Possum, there's a bat, kangaroo with Joey, and so it goes all the way around the circle. Bandicoot, snake, how interesting, dingo, kookaburra, lizard, blue wren, frog, and so it goes on. Palmer wallaby, platypus. Well, that's very cool. I like it. And now I'm going to see if I can find a way out to my car. All right, so that's been the sculpture garden and some of the extra bits and pieces at the Hunter Botanic Gardens. Thanks for joining me today.
Hello, I'm back. Hi there. Oops, where am I? Here we go. So, How are we? Is the sound back? Am I back? That was so weird watching that and not being able to hear the recording. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to have to go right through my settings and see if I can figure out why I can't hear my own videos. That's just frustrating. Okay. All right. So, yeah, that was the Hunter Region Botanic Gardens, which is absolutely gorgeous. And as I said, I'll be going back in a couple of weeks because the orchids are all just starting to come out, but they'll be at their best in a couple of weeks' time. And there's an orchid house as well. So they've got the outdoor orchids, which are just beautiful. And then they've got an orchid house with more exotic orchids as well. So I'll be going back to do that. Now, today, as you know, and I'm really sorry, all you people in the UK, there's absolutely nothing I can do. It's at midday. What can you do? But we are doing the Wuthering Heights event, which some of you may remember I did 3 years ago in the Blue Mountains, and we're doing it again. It started in Brighton, funnily enough, in the UK, and the name of the group was something like Sham. It was a dance group, and they were going for the Guinness World Records for the most number of people dancing to Wuthering Heights at one time. It's become a worldwide thing. It's happening all over the place. But I've done it in the Blue Mountains 3 years ago. It's meant to coincide with Kate Bush's birthday at the end of July, but it's been rescheduled twice because of the rain that we've been having, and now we've finally got a sunny day. Look at this. Look what's coming through my front door. Actual sunshine coming through my front door over there. So it's going to be a nice day. I'm heading down there in about I'll be leaving here in about three and a half hours, and it starts in about 4 hours. So that's that. Now, at the end of this month, we have booked accommodation for 2 nights in a country retreat. It's just a cabin, but it's on 65 acres of wild former farmland. They have wallabies, they have outdoor fireplace, they have goannas, and what else do they have? They said they have their own koalas, but I don't like my chances of seeing them. It's one of those Italian coffee pots. There we go. It's cute, isn't it? And my cousin has one that's a mix master, like Annette's red mix master, upright mixer. What was I saying? The reason we're going there is because there is a huge, a bit like Sculpture by the Sea at Bondi, but this one's out on a farm in a place called Dungog, and it's called Sculpture on the Farm. There's 185 sculptures. There's going to be a shuttle bus to get you around the actual course. There's events on. There's glass blowing. It's a 3-day event. I'm probably only going to get tickets for 1 day and try and get it all in 1 day. There's a Gillian Mark is going to be there. Not Gillian Mark themselves, I don't think, but one of their sculptures is going to be there. So I don't know what the signal's going to be like. I'm tossing up whether to actually schedule it as an event and give it a try, or just forget the whole thing and just do recordings all day. I will need a bus. Yeah, absolutely. I'll definitely need a bus, Dawn. Yeah, I think it's 1 kilometre and it goes uphill and downhill. So, and you get on and off along the way. So I think it's probably going to be impractical to try and stream it. I think I'm probably going to have to do a recording. While we're speaking of things on walls, and Sarah, you might want to avert your eyes. My daughter mounted something a few weeks ago that I've had in storage for years. And the reason I bought this at a secondhand shop is because it's from my old stomping ground, which is Narrated. Okay, and it's a skim board. So yeah, that's what is mounted on the wall here. All right, so that's what's happening at the end of the month. In the meantime, I'm still editing video. So what am I working on right now? I'm working on Russia. There's about an hour and a half of footage from Russia, but I'll split that into two pieces because one is the circus and the other is like a bit of Moscow, a bit of Leningrad on the bus with the guide talking, getting out at the Winter Palace. So, excuse me. So I'm going to turn that into two separate videos, and that's really cool actually watching that back. Our trip to it was a 4-day weekend trip to Moscow and Leningrad. That's one I'm working on right now. I'm also working on another visit to Lura shops, Annette, because you said you missed the last time we went there. This time, hopefully we get to see the didgeridoo player. And so that's the other one that I'm working on at the moment. So I kind of have a couple on the go at once, mainly so that I'm not just throwing a whole lot of vintage video at you, because some of it's a little tricky to watch, just because of the well, first of all, the camera work. I mean, we were sort of bouncing around holding cameras like this. There was one of those big ones back in the day. So it wasn't always steady, especially when you're walking. And the other thing was that the video quality is not that good. So I'm really having to sort of strip a lot out just to find the little gems here and there. All right. But there's some magnificent footage of St. What's the name of it? The big, beautiful cathedral in Red Square, the St. Basil's. I think it's St. Basil's. St. Basil's? St. Stephen's? God, my memory's terrible. Yeah, that one with the beautiful, colourful domes. There's some lovely footage of that. And Ronnie Lynn's asking Annette what time Elizabeth is on tomorrow. Annette has postponed that, Ronnie Lynn, because she's got removalist vans coming in and out of her property, which is going to set the dogs off. So she's rescheduled it. So it's next weekend instead of this weekend. All right. Otherwise, please check out the calendar. I know that Pallavi had a mosaic workshop last night, and part 2 is on tonight. What else is happening? Leslie has uploaded or added quite a few events. I think Elizabeth in Peru has a few coming up. So there's a few to keep an eye out for. And of course, I'm always adding those events that I come across to the calendar to keep filling in gaps, because a lot of our guides are off doing in-person stuff right now. So keep an eye out. Give us some feedback. Let us know which ones you're enjoying. Please, just so that I know that I'm on the right track here with what I'm adding to the calendar. I mean, if it's stuff that no one's interested in, I'll try and look for alternatives. Sometimes it's tricky. Sometimes there's just not a lot around. Other times there's a lot, and I might have 2 or 3 on at the same time. So that's what I'm kind of trying to juggle at the moment. All right. Thanks, everyone. I think we'll finish up here unless anyone wants to ask me anything. I've made some progress on the fence, but it's pretty much more of the same. I haven't added anything different other than making it a bit, making it go all the way across. So that's really nothing new. Richard's painting the side fence in we're graduating the colour. So it's kind of pale blue, middle blue, we're going to go dark blue next, then purple. Then by the time we get to the street, it'll kind of be a bit of a dark grey that matches the breeze blocks that Lauren painted the underside of the house with. And speaking of Lauren, everyone send Lauren all your collective good thoughts, because she's in Puerto Rico and there's a Category 5 hurricane is right over top of them right now. So please send my daughter good wishes. All right. And I think I'm going to go off and check the weather map for Puerto Rico when I sign off. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now.